Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's showtime. Yay! Ish. No. Ish. Right. I left us yesterday here. I believe I had swapped in static orb and we were going to see how that was going to work. The flaming orb was doing pretty good damage. Volcanic. It's not flaming, it's volcanic, my bad. The ruins of Welrun. Now we'll see if I can remember how to play this.
I wonder what my apprentice would have made of this.
Okay, the kaboom was quite satisfying. I think I'm going to be okay with that. But we definitely, it's all about electricity around here. Staff, stake, knife. I'm so used to, I am used to it. If it didn't work that time, I attempt to dodge. I didn't dodge. That keeps coming back. There are a couple of annoyances I have found in the patch, that's for sure. I was going to 4 here. One is that it resets my video settings every time I log in. To full screen instead of windowed. Borderless window. And it seemingly doesn't remember my setting for the web on my second character. Which is annoying as well. Because I don't particularly want to reset those every time I freaking log in. It appears I have to, because if I just click this so it goes away, it comes back when I change maps. This is not a particularly welcome occurrence.
Fools.
And neither is the other thing, so what am I to do? I wish to learn. That is one of the floaty boys. Where's the other one going? He's... Can't tell where he's going. He's going down. Unfortunate. One of my Weaver items has improved. Let's grab that. Yes, yet another new build. You know me, short attention span. I'm all busty this evening. That's bzzed. Now, I'm not busty, okay? Well, I used to be. I've lost weight. I'm going lightning all over the place. Do you guys mind? I'm busy over here. Lightning cracks. He says that an awful lot. Missed me. Loser. He's just a loser.
I cannot do that.
Lightning cracks, blah, 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 blah. He's got a real thing about lightning, it seems like. And you see, it's back again. The freaking thing, and I will enter them in and they'll go away. I was playing the Warlock the other night. What can I say? I have short attention span. Oh, that's the one I need. There we go. All of those are complete. I got it to 51, and it died for the first time. And you know, I just can't play any build that dies. It's just not, I'm making that. It wasn't feeling very strong when I went into the tomb. And so it felt like I would either need to spend a good deal of time revamping it or maybe just try something else. Because there's like a bunch of builds I want to try. So that wasn't like a terrible burden. Because there are a bunch of builds I want to try. I want to learn. Did you end up going with a lock for your next character? 5 to 6 builds each season yourself? Yeah, I mean, certainly historically with PoE, I was that. It was usually 5 or 6, at least. Sometimes as many as 12, and I'm not making that up. Now, I'm not playing all of those deep into maps. Most of those were played either up until maps or until I just found them non-fun. But most of those were made at least into white tiers of maps. Where was I going next? I want to make sure that I'm not being attacked. Playing a lot of Paladin. Well, Paladin is the strongest build right now, so that makes sense. We want 4 points in there, I think. Where else? That's mana and mana regen. That's arcane momentum. I'm not big on arcane momentum. All right, we're going to try it again, although it didn't matter last time. It just completely unequipped it because I'm not of a level to use it. That didn't piss me off a little. It pissed me off a lot, actually. Overcharges. And I've got to say so far, I'm liking the static orb, you know? Let's see what we can do with static orb here. Two starting points. More shock. Additional tendrils. Well, who doesn't like tendies? Projectile speed and damage. Explodes on hit rather than piercing. More damage per mana cost. Chance to double cast. Oh, I don't want the cooldown. Over here, smaller orbs. Hey, I'm not shrinking my orbs down for anybody. Okay? I'm not sure that came out right. After using static orb, the next lightning blast from any source. Change 2 additional times. 4 seconds directly casting lightning blast and hitting at least one enemy will turn 25%. Those are good because I'm using lightning blast, so happy with that. Let's see. Static orb deals more spell damage, multiplicative to shocked enemies. Generate static charges, overwhelm. More damage multiplicative, but costs additional. The explosion now leaves behind charged ground, dealing lightning damage. That sounds kind of sexy. Static orb costs less mana, but it no longer pulls enemies. No, I kind of want to pull enemies. Let's go with Forking Surge. All 3 points. More 10Ds. Projectile speed and damage. Got a point. Let's see how many more chains we get from this. How it feels. Well, that blasted everything, so that was hardly a fair test. I liked it. Because it was hardly a fair test. Now, Paladin is definitely the strongest build this season. Judgment Pally is the strongest. I was playing Void Knight. Void Knight Idol Bomber. Plenty powerful, too. I've got an inventory full of crap. Stupid spooters. That was a soul repository, not to be confused with a soul suppository, which is way less pleasant. Not that I would know, I've been told. We've got another silly little loot lizard running into the wall. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't run into the wall if you're trying to get away. But loot lizards, man, they never seem to listen. Ha 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 ha! Alright, that's all of the soul depositories. I love when their bodies go flying. Excellent. Now back to the cultist camp. As always, cultists inevitably the good guys. Alright, what did we get? Nothing there. Did we get a passive? No. Oh, it was the... right. It was the web indicator. We need to sell a bunch of this stuff, because otherwise our inventory will flow over onto the ground. Currently I'm using the Mad Alchemist's Ladle and a Conduit Ritual Stone. Not sure when the ladle gets replaced. The gloves aren't bad. Elemental damage leached his health. Cold damage? No, thank you. I do lightning damage. Zzzt. Oh, we'll have to see if this exotic that dropped might be good from the Nemesis. Dex and Fireball. We'll deconstruct that one. Let's go ahead and salvage that one first. And then we'll take a look and see what we got in our ill-gotten gains. Got a Fireball, sure. Be good. Fire Aura damage. I'm not currently using Fire Aura, but it might get swapped in and element change to lightning. In which case we can roll off the dex, chaos off the dex, get Vit and maybe Int or something. Armor. That's a keeper. It is a keeper for sure. Pardon the yawn. A quick check to see if anything else is opened up here. That's 46. I know we're going to want that one eventually. Strong Mind. Mana. Maximum mana added as stun avoidance and cast a small lightning explosion when you're stunned. Lightning resistance and spell lightning. We currently have spell damage, mana, health, and fizz. I think that's actually better. It saddens me to say, but I think that's actually better. Let's see, that's got 3 Weaver's Will on it right now. It's healing effectiveness, spell damage, poison resist, and endurance. It's not great. Truth be told, not all that great. Spell damage is nice, but it's not like tier 7 like the healing effectiveness. Theoretically, the healing effectiveness should also affect Leech. So maybe that's why I haven't been seeing any real life problems, is that I'm just leeching so much I'm not even noticing. Possible. I would describe that as possible. They're yelly. They're always yelling so much. You kids today always yelling. He is a jolly fellow. Liking Static Orb so far. A lot cheaper than Volcanic Orb, and seems to be doing a just fine job so far. On blowing stuff up. Weaver Font improved again. How about more spell damage, please? That would be nice. What did we get? Oh, we got Spin to Win. He wishes to learn. And here comes the big bug. I will take the Symbol of Hope and teleport back to the cultist camp. Those are 2 very unimpressive sets of male bracers. And I don't need male bracing. My maleness is just fine as it is. I mean, I'm old, but that part, that's no problem. Yet. Sure, my time is coming. Alright, I'm sure the cultists are doing good things over here. Now that I've got the parts they wanted, I'm sure everything's going to be just fine.
Yes?
What are you going to do with them? What are you doing? Damn it! And he's dead. I tell you, cultists. You just can't trust them. Into the shattered valley we go. Into the valley of death. Road the 500. There was both a charge of the Light Brigade poem, but also, at the request, I believe, of the Queen, he also wrote the charge of the Heavy Brigade, because the Heavy Brigade worked. The charge of the Light Brigade did not. A famous failure. Ding 22. $500? 800? I can't remember. It's been too many years. When I was speaking competitively in college, because that is a thing, believe it or not. One time a person in front of me did Charge of the Light Brigade as part of their poetry program, and I got up and started talking about Battle of Balaclava, and then I read them the Charge of the Heavy Brigade, and I could see the relief on the judge's face that he wasn't going to have to listen to Charge of the Light Brigade again. Alfred Lord Tennis Ball, I believe, unless I'm misremembering, which is certainly possible. You mean his name wasn't Alfred Lord Tennis Ball? I was sure it was. And he's back. And he didn't survive the being back part. Would you please, sir? So the build was a little slow getting started, but once I hit Sorcerer, ever since then it's been fine. We have a champion. That will be a bit of a chore. But we can't let a champion go by unchallenged. Wasn't much of a chore at all. Never mind. He died. Quite swiftly indeed. I would feel terribly bad about that if I felt bad about it. I am quite pleased with how the static orb is working out. That seems to be a perfectly good choice. Maybe not doing quite as much single target as the volcanic orb was, but costs a lot less mana. so I can bzz things most successfully. And of course, being thematic is more important than being good. And my theme is bzzzt. Solid theme. The Lost Refuge. Not the Last Refuge. We did the Last Refuge earlier. This is the Lost one. And how someone manages to misplace an entire refuge, frankly, I don't know. One more, and we get the bonus for that. Close that up so we don't have to see it until the next map we enter. Let's see, where were we going? All three there for more tendrils, because tendrils? Projectile speed and damage. We're heading over here for lightning blast. Also chaining additionally. Wanted at least to get 2 there. And once again, that brings this back. Come on, guys. User interface design. It actually matters. And we need one more here before we can go to occasionally quadruple charge our blasting. Imagine this will be a good setup for mapping. Probably lower single target, but really good for just cleaning up mobs. For obvious reasons. Oh, he's big. Another level for me, 23. I take it back. I think the Lost Refuge is a lesser refuge, as it's called. Ooh. Whiff of despair. Yeah, it is. We have not, in fact, done the Last Refuge yet, as we're about to find it. They didn't want to be called the Lesser Refuge. They wanted to be called Rat City. You can actually tell the person who's looking for them that. I don't know if there's any difference in, like, the loot or anything that we get. Passive point. We have 3. All right, we want one there and another one there because brains. This opens up these. Fire. Ugh. Ice. Ugh. Lightning. Serenomancer. Now we're talking. What else do we have? A few more levels. We get Lost Knowledge, word gain per 30 corn. Oh, that's not bad. So this is shocks and lightning damage, and then up here we get lightning pen. We really only need 1 point there. But what else would we spend it in? Arcane Momentum? I don't find that an interesting skill. The mana? Alright, now I'm not having any mana issues yet. Now the ward per second per 10 max mana is not bad. That is more tempting. I may, in fact, dump points in there to get up to 5. Wanted to get the 4 there. And we could yoink one back and want 5 in there for sure. We may yoink 1 point back from there to get there, and then lightning pen. Decisions, you know? important that I talk these things out with you. Actually, I talk to myself like this when I'm not streaming, so I kind of fibbed. 4 seconds after using static orb directly casting lightning blast, which I do a lot, hitting at least one enemy will return 25% of the mana cost. Can only be done a limited number of times. Or over here, the explosion's damage ramps up with more distance, but it travels slower. It's an interesting one in here. Deals more damage and now travel faster in an arcing trajectory rather than a straight line, but it no longer pulls or hits enemies until it explodes. I don't think I want that. Right now I'm not having any problem with the mana. Let me talk to the NPC and finish up the quest. You tell them they didn't want to be called the Lesser Refuge. They wanted to be either called the Refuge or Rat City. I'll go with the Refuge. They're dead. There's no need for me to mock them any further. Dead is dead.
Yes.
Spell damage. Mana health and fizz. Mana regen health. Cast speed. Health. I think I want to forge that one. That is not a good one for us. Mana, no. Cold damage, ew! I told you guys before, I don't do cold damage. 15 spell damage. 27 mana. Fire and cold damage. I don't do those. These people, they just... I swear they're not listening. No. But we do want to see if we can't... Alright, spell, mana regen, and health. How are our resists looking? Necrotic is not looking great, nor physical. But we can always just throw more health on. I'm not sure how many of the other health affix we've got. Health percentage. Or if that can even be applied to a level of this, an item of this level. Elemental resistance. No, only elemental we would need would be cold. We had like almost Zippo necrotic. I'm going to go with necrotic. No. I'm going to go with physical. Fizz resist probably more. Harder to get, so we'll go with fizz resist. Oh, we're almost out of forging potential. We are out of forging potential. So, 31% spell damage, exactly the same, but 13% cast speed. We've got mana regeneration instead of mana. We have more health, and we have more fizz resist. It's slightly, ever so slightly better, and we will break this one up for parts. Quick check to see if any other new items have opened up here. I'm looking in the wrong tab. Unsurprisingly, I didn't find anything in the wrong tab. Let's see if we got anything I'm missing with lightning spells. That has it, if you play all 3 pieces. I have been well. All things considered. Thank you, additional baker. The world can always use an additional baker. Lightning steel. Okay, so the Kulnavar's charms are a possible addition. I already have them in the right place. How about lightning damage? Lots of stuff does lightning damage. Gelcor's blast knife. You need a second Gelcor's. Gelcor's is fun. I've played the Gelcor's build a couple of times before, and it's just fun. Gelcor's turns one of the bow attacks into a melee attack. Sadly, it's not well supported by the marksman tree, which you have to use. Patch turned out so well, you were skeptical if they could really improve the endgame. Yeah, I think it was really fun too. I agree completely. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a huge improvement. The analogy I've been saying is it's better, PoE alternates with sort of a smaller, historically, been like 9 months since they had an actual league, but PoE historically has a smaller league and then a larger mechanic league. And I would say that this is better than most, if not all, of the smaller leagues, and is the equal of at least an average larger league. It's not as in-depth as something like Settlers was for PoE. But it's a solid improvement. PoE quality league improvement. And that's meant as a compliment. Not finding any additions. Yeah, pretty much so. We concur. Yeah, I'm very happy with the way it's come out. I hadn't read up much about it, so most of it has come as a surprise to me. I thought that it seemed like what I had seen seemed like a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of stuff. You have a feeling they're going to keep doing that way? I'm sure they want to, but keep in mind this time was basically a very long patch cycle. So I'm certain they want to keep it going. I don't know if they have, the resources. Hopefully they do. Yeah, the new axe still waiting to be developed. Yeah, exactly. And we kind of don't know if they've thrown themselves like entirely into this patch, or have they also been, doing significant work on upcoming stuff too. We just don't know. If I had one question I could ask them, it would be, look, you're ARPG players yourselves. We know that you've been thinking a lot about new classes. What new classes have you been thinking about? I got to admit, I'm more interested in that than the future, like story content stuff. Because that's got to be the most fun. It's like, okay, 1.2 shipped. It's being well received. We've got a good amount of income coming in. That's all awesome. Let's sit around. Let's get drunk. Let's talk about what classes we want to make in the future. I mean, certainly that's what I would be doing, especially the drinking part. A man's gotta know his weaknesses and his strengths. Sadly, drinking is one of my strengths. That part their developer itch is probably focused on some reworks, I wager. Well, certainly the work part, I absolutely agree. But you know that when they're just sitting around bullshitting on, well, it used to be The Office, on Twitch. I mean on Discord, say. That's the kind of thing you know has to be just idle discussion. Not any actual, real work being done, I wouldn't think. Maybe another, couple of successful seasons will see them starting to talk about we're looking at new classes, new masteries, that kind of thing. But I mean, just thinking about that kind of thing has got to be fun. And sometimes you just want to be fun. Apparently Acolyte is next on the list. We have a dragon. We have a dead dragon. Yeah, I'm sure that they're dedicated testers. The players who were part of their alpha and beta process for this patch. Guys like Lizard. If you're familiar with Lizard IRL. They've got a lot of input. They should, because they know the game backwards and forwards. Oh, he blew up. That's really unfortunate for him. I've never actually blown up, so I can't speak to if it's really unfortunate, but it seems like it would be. Who doesn't like electricity? I mean, other than them. The great thing about it is it doesn't require mana. You just have to shuffle your feet on the carpet. That was a joke. Experience gain. Well, it's not one of the cool, nifty shrines, but, experience is good, especially because I'm low level. Did I miss something? I did over here, didn't I? I think. I wish to learn. Oh, we've got a lizard in real life. Wow, that's an entire set of green gear. Nice. For those who are not familiar, there is an end game echo that allows you to break up your green gear into affixes so that you can craft them onto rare gear. But just for the most part, it's the set bonuses. And that's a really nice change because as much as sets are cool in theory, sacrificing 2 or 3 of your items for the set bonuses has basically never been worth it. But now, you don't have to. Just means you can't have an LP item in those slots. Spiteful Horror of the Lizard. Another of the lizard? Bzz. The Courtyard. Yeah, I love the idea of set pieces. But the execution in most games is that they're almost never worth using, which is sad because they're a great concept. This is a very, like a lot of the problems historically that ARPGs have had, the last Epoch guys have come up with really smart ways of working around or fixing something that always felt broken. Legendary potential is awesome. The separation between Circle of Fortune and Merchant's Guild, it still needs work, especially on the Merchant Guild side. But as far as for a solo self-found player, the Circle of Fortune is a great addition. See, I think I was coming down here. Enjoying the new league? I am, Shirke. Wasn't touching LE since beta. Now a proud father of a cockroach build and 0 damage. Well, not really. Definitely not endgame viable. There's a cockroach build? I mean, I know there's a squirrel build. I played it once. I know a lot of people do shit with bees. Remember Trag'Oul and D2 and Immortal King? Can't say they were good in terms of game design, but they were definitely cool. Well, and sometimes what we want is cool. We want it to also be good, but sometimes cool is enough. We're 4 seconds after we get some of the... Yeah, that's not bad. I think I was coming over here, though, right? Yeah. More damage. More damage! So, Shirke, how you liking the new content? They did a really good job, didn't they? I ask your opinion, and before you can answer, I respond for you. Welcome to my stream. I have all the answers. They're usually wrong, but they are mine. It's been too long for me to remember anything from D2. I mean, I played a lot of D2 back in the day. I also played a lot of D1 when it came out. But I was not one of those gamers who played D2 for years and years and years. I've got a good friend who was. He played for years. We got another set. Probably the same set. I'm going to go out on a limb and say. Is it the same set? No, 2 entirely different sets. Love listening to lore reads for D1 on YouTube. There was lore in D1? Whoop. Hey, jerk.
I am not a man of many pockets.
I am not a man of many pockets. I do hate that vocalization so very, very much. Pretty fun considering any weeks of 2 weeks suffering in PoE 2. A lot of cool ideas and synergies. Yes, I agree. They managed to take all of the good stuff in PoE 2 and make it worse. And they managed to take all the bad stuff in PoE 2 and make it much worse. Hey, Fat Body. Good evening. Welcome. He wishes to learn. Not Fat Body. Although maybe Fat Body wishes to learn as well. Yeah, lore is a meme in the ARPGs, but it was a huge deal for setting an atmosphere. It depends. It can be. Generally, it's an afterthought at the start, but it is something they put more time and effort in as the game grows. As they should, I think. Because it can certainly be an interesting addition. You know, I've never been a huge lore nerd in any game, really. But I pick it up over time simply because you kind of have to. You will over time. We have another nemesis. Oh, and he's back. Why would you do that to me? Oh, that's right. It's because you're a jerk. What do we have in here this time? Communion of the Erased. I would like to skill that one up. But we got to empower it first. Currently has 10 Weaver's Will. We're going to empower it. Alright, we sent him off to the Shadow Realm. Freeze rate multiplier. Freeze rate.
I am not.
Yes, I know. I am not. Blah, 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 blah. 7. Fine. Whatever. Stupid. At least one advantage about the new system is you no longer have to manually move all of your shards and glyphs and all those good things. The game takes care of it for you. Alright, boss coming. Oh, that's another level for me. I guess all those little dudes were XP. And he's gone. More levels for me. I like levels, and I cannot lie. Hope everyone's weekend is going decently well, at least until you showed the bad fortune to join my channel. What were you thinking? I'm going to pop back to town to empty out my bags.
Greetings.
More idle slots.
Do not
Mega
worry.
Swarm Blade build, absolutely blind, and it sucks. Understandable. Be very meta YouTube. Yeah, Paladin Hammer Throw. I used the Hammer Throw for leveling until 37 or so and swapped over to Void Knight Auto Bomber, and the character's level 81 and hasn't died. Yeah, I did a blind build myself a few days ago on Warlock. Got up to 51 and got my first death. Wasn't happy with how fast it was moving, and as always, alts are kind of my thing. And
Yes.
I definitely want to at least build one more build this league at least. So that may be coming up. Who knows? Later tonight? I don't know. What can I say? I'm a sucker. I love alts. Lens loves alts. And he cannot lie. Spoiler, he can lie. Movement speed, fizz rating, int? Yes, I think I will probably try to use that. Minion damage. Pfft, minions. Lightning damage is where it's at. Lightning damage. Cool guys use lightning damage. Let's see, melee damage. No. Come on, seriously? Melee damage? As if. Isadora's. Last bear. Isadora's. Could wear the helm. No reason I would want to wear the helm, but I could. Could wear the belts. The belt's pretty good on its own. The additional lightning blast just I find entrancing. Leveling a lightning sork, very nice. Yeah, that was my only thing is I wanted to go with lightning. I just said, okay, I want to build a lightning sork. And so far, I'm finding static orb to be much better than expected, and lightning blast, real good backup. I expect it will be the whole build. I expect will end up being dynamite on clear. Still unclear about how good it's going to be on single target. Now that's not bad. Increased necrotic damage though does nothing for me. Let's see what we can forge onto this bad boy. Int, movement speed, obviously. Dodge rating's not a big deal. We don't want to burn our forging potential on that. 5 points off. Yeah, good, nothing. Movement speed, can't. Biz, can't. Int, total of 13% movement speed as opposed to 13%. I talked me into it. I'm a smooth-talking devil. And I talked me into it. Anything else available on any of these? Lightning damage, perchance? 28. We're not there yet. Intelligence. I would like to have more intelligence. Not quite ready for that yet either. How about you? Got a lot of forging potential. Lightning damage. Not ready for more. Elemental damage. Sure. We're at 16. I'll take that. And this one has 0. We will put our stuff away. Boots. Gloves. Bare necessities. Oh, that's a joke. Get it, guys? Bare necessities. It's... Never mind. Okay, now, where were we? We had a point to spend. Do we want to yoink one there to get us to 4? I'm thinking maybe. I mean, to get us to 5 instead of 4. Because we got 1 there. We're going to need 15. 15 gets us there. So 1, 5, 10, 15. Yeah, looks like we're going to lose 1 point off our calculated whatever it was.
Greetings.
Destruction. So 2 more points will get us to 15. We'll get that at 5. Probably dump some points in there. A bunch of points in there. Then we're up to here. Crackling precision. Sounds about right. We'll see what our crit rate is like, as if we want to fire for some crit multi. Or just more ward. Spark Nova. All kinds of stuff. All kinds of electrical stuff. Come on, everybody. Let's shuffle our feet on the carpet. Time to murder the bad guys. You You want to try Heartseeker? Yeah, it did look fun, but you'll level up with Falconeer, and you'll never switch. They did nerf it. It's still very strong, but they did nerf Falconeer. You know, generally so far when it comes to nerfing, they nerf rather delicately. They don't obliterate the way some game companies might. I'm not going to mention any names, but their initials are GGG. They never seem to nerf except to obliterate. If it's worth nerfing, it's worth annihilating. We're going to have batch number 2 on this Nemesis. Great Googly Games is exactly what I was referring to. A lot of people haven't heard of them. We want to empower? That didn't get empowered. I'm just pointing that out. This guy does blood, which is kind of gross when you think about it. I mean, it just can't be sanitary. The guy's using blood magic. Alright, we've got an exiled mage. I don't feel they really upgraded the exiled mages in this content patch. I mean, they did plenty of other stuff, so that's not really a complaint. It's more of an observation. I did nothing wrong. Yeah, that's what they all say. You don't very often say, I was entirely responsible for my actions.
Have you come to make me whole?
We've got a Storm Champion. The Ziggurat of Ruin. Well, I ruined him. Kind of the joke's on him situation, you know? Dark Maul of the Polymath. I don't know. I never thought Darth Maul was all that educated. More damage ramp, but it travels a little slower. I'm not really noticing any slow travel yet on the orb, so I'm fine with that. So far, the travel speed on it seems to be pretty good. Yeah, it's a little more noticeable, but I still have no issue. This went full unlimited power. Mind you, of Inquisitor class. Oh, yes. I did enjoy my Inquisitor class in SWTOR. I loved the surprise at the end of the Inquisitor storyline at the end of Chapter 1 in the Dark Temple. It got an intentional laugh my ass off from me. I don't want to spoilerize it for anyone, but it was unexpected and hilarious. Intentionally hilarious, not accidentally hilarious. You're looking at the proud owner of the legendary title, I believe it is, in Star Wars: The Old Republic, for finishing all 8 of the storylines. At least once. I actually think I probably finished all of them more than twice. I played a lot of SWTOR. For quite a while, it was like my 3rd or 4th most streamed game. I played it for quite a while on stream.
Fools.
Right now, my most streamed games are Guild Wars 2, City of Heroes, and I think PoE. Not positive about the 3rd, but I think so. But you're certainly right that the build is now resembling the electricity caster Inquisitor from Star Wars: The Old Republic, the Force Lightning. Sadly, I'm not a fan of what they did to the game when they revamped it the last major time. I thought it was really, really misguided. Not all of it. The disconnecting your spec from your story, I was okay with. Not a fan, but I didn't consider that like game breaking. But changing the spec trees, I consider to be game breaking. Enough that I really don't have any intention to play it any. Just sad to say. Fools. Used to be you had to get both of these pieces. Now it's only one. And we will do the shortcut trip. One more point, and we get the ward per second increased. I haven't really been using this. I haven't been using the Elemental Nova. Nothing's getting close enough for me to use Elemental Nova. Where are we at? Other things that I could add. Flame Ward probably is coming in sooner or later. There's an item that changes Meteor into lightning damage. I could see that getting used. Because I want to be all bzzzt all the time. Maybe static? Oh, we did add more idle slots too, didn't we? Yes, we did. So, necrotic. We could use a wee bit of the old necrotic. Resists. Eight. 11. Health on kill and health. That's not bad. Fizz pen. Ew. Bow damage. Get out of town. Bow damage. Looks like that one back here is our winner. A little necrotic, health on kill. Those are fine. Anything new available over here? Ooh. Liath's Machinations. Oh, Fireball. I did set these aside when I wasn't sure what kind of mage I was going to be making. We almost certainly want the Culnavar's Claim when we hit 50. That's the one. Level 46, Velatria's Downfall. That's the one that converts Meteor to Lightning. Increases your lightning damage by 326% and your mana by a boatload. I think I at least want to try that. It looks delightful.
Yes.
As it burns everything to death. A little. It burns them a little bit to death. We can hold on to that one. That's not bad. We could chaos the strength off and hope for something useful. Fire damage. Get out. What do we got? Let's see. Vit, a little armor, increased elemental damage. Not sure how much percent that is anymore. 5.5% of elemental damage leached his health is... That's pretty good. Ain't gonna lie. That's pretty good. Would I lie to you? Guys? Never. Never. He totally would. This one's giving me additional shock chance for intelligence, lightning spell plus, lightning pen, and int. Probably keeping that one for a while. Oh, and spell lightning when I get the second piece at 40, whatever it was. Gotta say that sounds okay too. Alright, we are going to bust that one up for parts. Decent parts. Save that one.
Follow your feet.
Just, you know, for a rainy day. What else did we have tucked away over here? I put a whole bunch of low-level stuff in here when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my low-level build. I had no idea of what class I wanted to play. I just put like all the level 20 stuff and lower into one place. This thing has finished tier 3 spell damage. Poison resist, endurance, health and mana. Mana spent as ward. Ward gained on hit per 10 missing mana if your current ward is lower. 15% elemental resistance. So, I mean, that's good for now. Good for leveling. It's a good leveling item. Back to the bridge device. Wait, what? There we go. That was weird. The Ruined Temple. So called because it's ruined, guys. Come on. All right. I got to admit, I kind of wish we had to run down to this door because the visual is so striking. I would like to be able to run down and get a better look at it, but no. We have to click up here. Sad to say. Is it you, Itera? Finally, after so long. We have the third iteration on that Nemesis. Still only 10 Weaver's Will. Oh, maybe it doesn't empower until it's done. Ooh, Mana Strike and Glacier. I'm not using a Glacier build, but that Sealed Affix is kind of a banger. Wow. Tier 6. Sealed. It's pretty good.
Cannot do that.
Could you just die a little bit? That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Communion of the Erased. Stats are doubled for 1 second after using a potion. Plus 1 potion slot per equipped Weaver's Will item, so that would be at least 1. Currently 3, I think, would be. Increased armor, mana spent as ward, more damage to stunned enemies. Well, I think we want to wear it. First of all, because Weaver's Will items are just plain fun. To see what you get. We're going to give up a little spell damage and stuff, which hurts my feelings. If I actually had feelings. I have 1. That's pretty much it. Just the 1 feeling. Tentacles moving. Nobody likes moving tentacles. I mean, sure. Octopi and squids. Probably. And he's coming right back. And another one coming right back. They really think That's one of the nice additions they made, is when they gave that an animation. So you were no longer surprised by it. Everything returned from the dead. I'm not Itera, dude. Get over it. She's just not that into you. So far, I gotta say, this has turned out pretty solid. Since I chose Sorcerer, and especially since I added the Static Orb. The Static Orb seems to be a really good clearing beat stick. Alright. Eternal Emperor, blah, blah, blah. I am not Itra. The end of ruin. Got him. He doesn't even drop a rare. Nothing but blues. Oh, come on, man. That ain't right. It just ain't right.
After eons alone, 3 again become 1. On the precipice of a broken world, there is hope.
Hope. Hope springs
The
eternal.
Epoch is reforged.
Hope's legs must be really tired.
As the traveler left, their real journey began.
No idea what that actually means. Other than apparently we're the one called the Traveler. Presumably because we travel through time. Best guess I've got. What do we have here so far? Health and stun avoidance and health. Health is never unwelcome, but that will be the only suffixes we're going to get. Obviously, prefixes we would like would be spell damage is always good. Lightning damage would be good for this build. Not a great number of Weaver's Will on that, only 10, so don't expect a knockdown, drag out banger of a belt.
Hey there, want to try your luck?
Cast speed and int. Well, that's int and ward per second, and lightning and elemental, and a couple of solid resists. So, no. I say no. I say good day, sir. Movement, health, and armor. I can't decide. No. Obviously, I can decide because I decided no. Sold it. To enrich myself. I am wealthy. Doesn't look like anything new's opened up here. Snowdrift? No, we already had that one open. That's 32. Now that's the meteor that goes with this, because this is meteor fall speed and +1 to meteor, and this turns it into lightning. Looking forward to at least trying that one out. But in which case we can't use the fragment of the Enigma, which I understand is extremely good. But we can at least try it out. That one's at 46, so we'll get... Oh, they're both at 46. That's just mean. We got everything? Yeah. All right, let's go upstairs. Yeah, we need to go upstairs and talk to the dude about a thing. Pardon the yawn.
I believe we seek out the outcast queen.
I will seek out the outcast queen. In the outcast camp. Other players. Another yawn coming because who knows why. Alright, got that quest. I think I got that quest. Need to go over and talk to her. I think it's a her. Hit the Forge for a few points. Hey Forge, how you doing? A little gold. No. Not gonna say no.
What do you want?
They want me to gain entry to the Great College in Wellrun. They have simplified that story quest. They now give you everything you need to just do the time travel right there and then. A little disappointing, but I can understand it wasn't necessarily clear as to how to do it. Kind of had to realize time travel's a thing and that the same map is used. One where all the buildings are intact and one where they're all in ruins. I really don't like these bone sculptors and their propensity. Void damage. Want to at least go until we get all of the affixes identified. There is an item you can use now to pre-identify, in essence. Ooh, who's big? Whoops. Hold on. Hold on. I screwed up. I clicked in the wrong place. This one's on me. This is not your fault, guys. Oh! I screwed something up. There we go. I'm back now. I promise I'll never misbehave again. But I will lie. A lot and frequently. Alright, that's the ward per second for 10 max mana. My current max mana is 222, which means that I get 22.2 ward per second. At least up until wherever the cap is reached, given my current rate of decay. Another new nemesis with Raowen's Fortress, used by the Rune Masters. That's not interesting, and that's not interesting. It's not interesting, but I feel obliged that it is just in my way that I must always empower them. It's just my way. Or the highway. Did we get all 4 identified? No, still just 3. But 2 in the health and stun avoidance. Is it void damage, though? That's definitely not an elementalist thing. Or a Sork thing, if you prefer. Another Weaver affix. Stupid Skeletron. How dare you? I did it again. I need to practice better mouse control. And we've got another exiled mage up yonder. We'll go get him. Oh, look at those all. It's just so sad. They all had to die so terribly. Not really. Is there one of those jerks? Yes. So annoying. Constantly rezzing things. Would you just freaking stop? Thank you. Chest of goodies. We'll get there, I think. I mentioned that I don't like those guys. I might have. Oh, Lightless Arbor key. My first dungeon key for this character. Do we have anything of interest there? Absolutely not. Teleporting bears. Imagine there's somewhere in the world a person about whom that is like their biggest nightmare. Now, they already don't like bears. And someone says, hey, at least they can't teleport. Until they can. Bone Sculptor, die, please. Thank you. You know, they're not especially dangerous or anything. They're just really annoying. giant semi-bossy mob up here. Sulla. I swear he made it sound like he was hawking up a lunner. That was gross. Nobody asked for that. Glyph of Despair. Imperial Wellrun. That is artillery, no pull. We kind of want the pull, I think. More speed and damage. And for our Blifty bolts, half the maximum number of chains. When you cast Lightning Bolt, you have a chance to be granted Lightning Aegis, which grants 50% increased lightning damage. Causes an explosion of lightning. I mean, explosions of lightning we all like. I mean, that's a given. Shock charge. Additional chains. There are no chains on me. Let's go with the shock chance. Again, I am winging it. This is not an optimal build. If you say you want my build guide, you are smoking the cracks. Ain't no such beast. And we'll just bop straight in to the Great College. Where guys are going to mock us because we don't have the seal to open the door, so we're going to go forward in time and get the seal from his dead body. Come back in time, open the door, and then put the seal back on his body. That's just, it's just simply the way science works, guys. I'm surprised you aren't aware of the time travel implementations and consequences. It's just straightforward science. Take the crest.
I cannot do that.
I cannot do that. I can do that. Now we're back in the Great College again. But now we're back in the Imperial era, in the past. Where now we have the crest, and can open the door, and he runs away. Like a great big cowardly person. Oh, we've got a nemesis. I do very much like the nemesis mechanic. It's a fun, simple mechanic they added with, I think, Season 1, right? They're just fools. Luke got all the uglies over here. And then we'll bring back the nemesis for round 2. That's not good. The rotating thing is not my favorite. I actually remembered to use my Elemental Nova. I've been using that very much. Haven't needed to. Of course, it's tuned to only do lightning damage because anything else would be wasteful. Hi. I was hoping I'd ignore him. No such luck. Poor deluded schmuck. Oh, we got another point. Ooh, yay, we've got points here. Ward gained per 30 current mana. Directly use a skill that costs at least 35 mana. 40 mana. That was 35. I have to increase the mana cost on static orb for it to matter. Note to self, we need to increase the casting cost on static orb. Just a little bit around the edges. Don't assume I can teleport down there. No, it's worth a try. Just didn't like their attitude. More little snots just keep coming. That looked like he was on fire. I didn't mean to set him on fire. Ooh, I bet that's the ladle I'm using. It's got like a 78% chance to ignite. So yeah, I guess that's kind of my fault. Raiment of Purity. Yeah, but I want it to be pure electricity. I'm not managing that either because I'm setting people on fire. I mean, granted, it is fire caused by electricity. I'm not sure if that matters to them. It matters to me. Bzz. Another bad guy.
Yes?
So sorry, where'd they take him? Where's the Risen Lake? Bye.
Gods be with you.
Bzz. Conduit. That would be electrical. Maybe some lightning damage on that. Ding 29.
cannot do that.
I think I took care of everybody. Permanently. Oh yeah, he got ready to do his big cast, and then the Soul Warden's Road. Where was the more mana cost? All right, that's more. 2 points per. Damage per 25 max mana. Max added mana cost. Damage per 25 max mana. Set. Max mana cost. 2% per point. I'm not sure. We'll have to check. Mana cost is less for that. Much less for that. More for that. Well, it looks like we go here, and then we start spending there until we add some more value. Cost. Mana. Cost. Soul Cage. The Soul Cage is a song by or an album title by Sting, I think. I know, old guy music reference. Oh, we get 2 of these jerks now. Well, they're both dead. So I hope they enjoyed being jerks. Because it was the last thing they ever, well, would have enjoyed if they were enjoying being jerks. I experienced a lot of jerks actually enjoy being jerks, so... they're jerks. Down, down, down. I have Haste Shrine. It gave me so much haste, it's gone already. Oop, we have beer. This requires, of course, that I drink a potion so that I can pick up the beer. Occasionally, a health potion will drop that is labeled as beer. And as a someone who used to drink a lot of beer, I feel obliged to show my appreciation for the beerness of it all. And let's go back in time yet again. Forward in time. Forward, back, back, forward. Forward, forward in time. Very happy with the way Static Orb has been working so far. Doesn't quite hit as hard as the Volcanic Orb was doing, but a lot less mana. And more importantly, my electrical purity must be untainted by fire and cold. He wishes to learn. he's coming back. A ribbed cuirass of frost. Frost is cold. I don't do cold magic. Cold magic is for people who can't do lightning magic. See, he thought that was funny as hell. He laughed until he died. He is having a good time. More idle slots. Not gonna say no to more idle slots. Going down there. That's right.
I cannot do that.
That'll take us back where we need to go. Take me back to where I was. Because I have to get back in time. They lowered the bridge for me. They know I'm a good guy. And they even have a chest. To give me a little bit of gold. Because they know I'm a good guy.
Welcome, traveler.
Oh, and she's under
May
attack.
a smile upon you.
Are we done defending her? No. Guys coming in behind me. Like jerks again. It's the whole jerks thing. Serenus the accuser. Not Ronan the accuser. Serenus. Ding 30. Dun, 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 dun. Turn to the seer. You okay?
Welcome, traveler.
She's fine. She's fine. She'll walk it off.
May Eterra smile upon you.
Travel west to Thetima. Where Admiral Harton, here's a who, awaits us eventually on board the big boat. Oh, charming! Lost connection. At least I wasn't in the middle of a fight, but I don't remember where my last waypoint was. I will sell the crap.
Yes.
Our bags, which is a lot. Traversal. Most of this stuff is no bueno. Also, no bueno. That's really low level and would be really good for someone with another build. Put that one away. Does not appear that they want to give me any overpowered stuff. Well, I would like to complain about that. I want overpowered stuff. Most certainly I want overpowered things. Probably because they're overpowered. No, that's the wrong stash tab. Where was I? That stuff, not there. I'm all confuzzled. They're playing with my tiny little mind. Yeah, I had some rare stuff in here. All right, let's see if we can make space. That's my sentinel. Right. Curse is foiled again. Can make this work. Bear with me. I win. A quick check. See if anything else has come loose. I don't expect so. Nope, 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 and all right. Where were we? Arisen Lake. I really dislike that disconnect. I get them occasionally. And I really detest it, as it's something that shouldn't be happening at all in a game that's been around this long on the internet. And I have to go back inside and protect her again? I don't know. It takes him forever. It just irks me, that's all. It's not a big deal. But historically, there's one thing I really detest in almost every game, and that is doing content twice because the game breaks.
Welcome, traveler. May Terra smile upon you.
If that happens again, I will be calling it an evening. I'm not too far away from doing that anyway, but that just kind of Put a damper on my enthusiasm for making it through the Therma tonight. Again, I do want to repeat, it's not a big deal. It's just one of those things that irks me, the almost endless number of things that irk me. Serenus the Accuser again. I've sworn we've beaten him once.
Not do that.
Maybe because we have. We definitely want to grab this and this because, hey, everything's better when you've got multiple shrines. And we've got a bad guy. Big champion. But evidently he was not the champion of the world. Now he's dead. Oh, gold shrine. Nemesis. Is this the last? Do we have the last challenge for him now? I think so. Yeah, we do. We can't empower, it's just challenge. Anything good in here? Chance to ignite on hit. If you want ignition, there you go. Poison resist and lightning resist and necrotic damage are the sealed affixes on those items.
I cannot do that.
Him being a enclosed space like that is not conducive to the badness I want to do to him, so. Again. What do we got? We got all the goodness. Beetle. Beetle is just not very interesting. Gotta say, he's just not that interesting. I'm sure he doesn't want to hear that. He's the Shadur Sanders. He's totally mid. Have some topical American humor. Their mileage may vary as to humor or not. Let's see. We're coming over here to increase the cost. 39.5. I think it needs one more point. Then I get the bonuses. I think it's 40. Oh, that's right, this guy and his mines. They call it a mine. $39.5, I believe it's. Yeah, 40. So one more point in that will do. to get me over the threshold, to get me more. Another nemesis. What a delightful surprise. And what has he got? Reach of the Grave. Good low level. Necros. Weapon. So, I'm going to empower it because that's my thing, you know. Empower the... Power the nemesis to see what you can squeeze out of them. Take 31. Oh, just so much fun. Taking static orb more than I expected. He doesn't like burning on the ground and everything. He continued to do that ad infinitum. Well, as long as it's not burning me, I suppose. Nothing good over there. My plan for tomorrow is more of the same. Not the most interesting of options, but hey, I'm not the most interesting of guys. Imperial Fatima. To the cultist camp. We'll check our spec points and whatnot. Gain current ward based on your current mana when you directly use a skill. Yeah. 40 mana. So I'll get for 30 mana. I'll get 4 ward. That's going to be going up to 5. Means I should have 7 charges, so it should be good for like 35 each. Each time I cast. My static orb should be good for 35. My current value just sitting there. The ward threshold is currently at 345 plus 642 health. That's a pretty healthy set of numbers.
Yes.
Spell damage, lightning damage now, because melee cold. Icky. Okay, now this one's a little better. I will check it before I wreck it. Ward per second for you or your allies while standing on your glyph of dominion. Don't think I end up with one of those. Ooh, sealed minion traversal on a ring. That's nifty. Sadly, this one's got poison damage, lightning damage, and necrotic damage. Chance to shock, chance to bleed. I mean, it does a little bit of everything, but none of it well. Sad. Terribly sad. not mad. I'm just disappointed. Let's see. Increased cast speed while you have lightning aegis. I don't usually have lightning aegis. Ward per second. Yeah, I don't think so. Here? Not enough room. There? It's in there somewhere. First one here, first one there. Do you have any of these major ones that are good? Ooh, static orb tendrils. Sadly, the suffix doesn't float my boat. Elemental Nova area. Volcanic orb is good, but I'm going with static orb. You've got to know your orbs. So, a lot of people don't understand how important it is to know your orbs, to get to know them on a close personal level. Critical strike chance with lightning skills and melee cold. I did want to see if this one was an improvement. Currently, 1491 on my lightning blast. 976. I'm going to go with that's a great big no. We'll bust it up. That one, I think I want to bust up. Got the ice barrage out. Good. Those two will hold on just in case, you know, a later build wants to partake of them. Pardon the yawns. Now we'll see if there's anything else that has popped up as being available here. Ath's Machination. No. Colvinar's is 50. Fingers of the Mire Phantom. 1 LP on that. I'm not sure if I want my evade to be replaced by Terrify. I don't think I do. That is 46, as is the Fragment of the Enigma. Tribo Electra is 45. I think what we're looking at is the Latria's Downfall. Sounds like fun, but these two together is probably the thing. Turbo Electra with increased spell damage, so that is 56 spell damage, 97% increased spell damage, cast speed, reduced mana cost, plus 2 to lightning skills, 4 tendrils on static orb. That just sounds really good. And then this, spark charges and more to lightning skills. I think that's our combo we're going to end up with. But for now, I am going to call it an evening. I want to thank you guys, as always, for hanging out with me. Do appreciate it. I should be back tomorrow at the usual time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, night in Europe, morning in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, with more of LightningLens. It's actually his name. I'm really not that creative. Beyond that, what do we got? We're getting close to the end of the month. But next month, I think on the 5th, we get the rescheduled early access for Rail Gods of Hystera, which I'll be playing. And then I think it's like from the 9th through the 11th or 13th, something like that. There is the beta for, not quite open beta, a large number of invites beta for Dune Awakening, which I have signed up for. We'll see if I get invited. I've also already bought the game, so we'll see if I get invited. And then beyond that, the following month, we actually get the launch for Dune Awakening. Those are the only games that are currently queued up and waiting desperately for my attention. But those are my plans. Again, thanks for hanging out. It always is genuinely appreciated. Hopefully, you'll see me soon. Have a great rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and I'm back tomorrow. So, take care, and ciao for now. Bye, guys.